The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. You know my name. This is Lee Goldstein from TNT, thenewstraders.com, JOBB. I think we have more names than any company under the sun, right? So, Stephen, I saw you sneak in. You understand my question? I've got a lot of zones. It just wasn't sure if that was right. You're saying that is correct. Ted, good morning. Nice to see you. I've just been discussing this zone indicator. This is MK Subdem zones. What a name of an indicator. It sounds like a rap song. MK Subdem zones 5. So I was checking to make sure that everything was correct for it. They can help you determine where you trade, and that's one of the things we use them for. And it's an indicator I'm learning about, and they disappear. So if they disappear on you, just go to indicators and click on it again. It just is a tiny bit buggy, I would say. Or, I don't know, maybe for some reason it's supposed to do that. Don't click on the trap trade utility. MK Subdem zones. And you know what? If it does what it's doing to me, I would just simply, let's take it off. I'll try putting it on again, indicators. Steve says his don't disappear that often. Mine are disappearing a lot, so I may look for a different file. Maybe my file's not functioning. Maybe it got slightly, who knows? Maybe it was corrupt when I downloaded it, but I don't believe so. I think on my machine it's just a little bit troublesome. So it's not the end of the world. It's an indicator I hadn't been using, so I'm not 100% sure I'm going to continue to use it. We'll see. And the purpose of today is not so much trading as I wanted to show people how to set up their charts. That's what I promised I would do. And we'll do a little bit of everything today. Definitely going to look at the NASDAQ 1030 trade. Maybe we'll have Stephen look at the open. Uh, Maybe I'll have Stephen come on like at 9:20 and he'll just show you what he does, explain what he does through the open just for fun. It's always fun to see what someone does during the open. First step, remember your protocols with this type of trade. You have to always take a peek at my favorite friend, the Ninja Dome, okay? And you're looking for very, very jumpy pricing. You're looking for big spaces. When you see that, those are warning signs that the market is extremely volatile. It is more volatile than normal, and you want to see, we prefer to see price next to each other. What do you mean, Stephen? Using which setup? Because I using the BHT that she sent. Bear with me, folks. I'm talking about a setup in this program. So, what time did you start trading it? 9 o'clock, 8:30. Okay, interesting. I mean, I think the Nasdaq is tradable from 8:30 to 10:45, 10:50. Those are probably my favorite NASDAQ trading times. And then I think you can start again afternoon to grab the close. Maybe you could start looking at 1:30 and see how things are shaping up, and maybe go till 4:05. Yeah, Chris, margin changes. I do believe it is 9:30 when the market's open. They go from overnight to intraday. And that's something you should check with the broker, because I don't like trading with an account so small that I have to worry about my margins. That worries me. It's just an extra piece of worry. Okay. But I realize the reality is that not everybody can afford a big account, or an account where you don't worry about margins. And I mean, you should think about margins in general, because if you trade the DAX has an intraday margin of $2,500. That's a lot. Okay. So, and it's extremely confusing how the broker and why the broker would shut you down. Um, I know it's computerized, but it still seems random to me. I mean, I at one time had a small account. I was shut down when I really thought I had way more than enough money to trade, and they still had shut it down. It might have been time of day. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. There's a couple of things you can put on the dome that you might like. Uh, One thing is show the quick buttons. If you show the quick buttons, you get the ask, bid, and market. Show the realized profit and lost when flat. That'll keep a running total of your money if you want to do that. I like to show the daily high and low markers. Okay. I think that's the big thing that I do, and I'll add a couple of rows to my price rows. All right, so I'm going to leave it like that. Ninja 8 does seem to give you both domes, and I don't think there's an extra charge for it. So I promised today I would show how to set up the charts. So let me keep my promise, okay? Just so you know, these are the indicators I use. You don't have to have all of them. I always put the JOBB indicators on all my trading charts because I'm always trading using something related to our software, okay? So I like to put our utilities on my trading chart. And now I have two zones on, which I didn't want to do. So let's clean that up. All right. So the indicators I have ADVXMA alerts V1. You could do ADVXMA. It's just as fine. You just want the one that shows the yellow dots, preferably. On NinjaTrader 8, the indicator is called ADVXMA Color Bands N8. ADVXMA Color Bands N8. The only difference that I could see between it and mine on Ninja 7 is it doesn't do dots, it does a yellow line. I didn't check yet to see if you could change it to dots. It may be that you can, but a yellow line is fine. We're not counting dots. Okay, we're just looking at the beginning and at the end of dots sometimes. I mean, Chantal happens to use the beginning and the ending of the yellow to create her ranges. She slightly changes the ranges that the software does, okay? If she has the time. And if you don't have the time, it's also not the end of the world. Usually one side of the range tends to be correct in her method, and then the other side often isn't correct, and so she just changes one side usually. The other indicator I'm using, so on the ADVXMA, and all of this is in the document that we have that we've sent that I will send if you don't have it. I'm going to post it. I'm just only have so much time. These are not standard NinjaTrader indicators, Michael. No, not all of them. We have gotten a discount from Futures.io for $85. You can become an elite member. And any indicator that you can't find on the internet for free, many of them can be found for free. If you go to, and that's in the document also, Lizard Indicators has a link where if you download the ANA Super Trend, which is the next indicator that I use, for some reason, when I download it, it includes about 20 ANA other indicators um, with it. So download the ANA Supertrend from Lizard is what I would recommend. You get a lot of extra indicators. But we got an $85 instead of a $100 elite membership from Futures.io, which happens to be an excellent website for traders, good information, good reviews. I'll say it one more time. If you're not willing to invest $85 in your business and trading is a business, then I don't know what to say. I mean, sometimes you just have to make an investment. It's part of life. Um, Everything is not free. And I'm not picking on you, Michael. I'm just giving everyone a heads up. So that's the attitude you want to have. Be willing to invest a little bit of money to make some money. There's no question that that is the way to do things. So I have the ANA Super Trend. We don't make any changes to the settings. Okay. The ADV XMA alerts, we change the ADX period to 7. I think usually it's set on 5. Then I create let me finish with the indicators. I create a current day OHL. I don't create a current day OHL. That's a standard Ninja indicator. Current day OHL, just download it, install it. You don't download it, just install it. Current day OHL. Open, high, low, that stands for. I like to know where the open was, and it's the Ninja open. It's not the actual index open. Supposedly you can change those times if you want to. I've been leaving mine alone because they work really nicely uh, for my magnet trades that we do sometimes. Um, and as Stephen says, there's a wealth of knowledge on Futures.io. There are some good websites out there. And sometimes you have to pay a couple of bucks for stuff. It's just a fact of life. Look, you pay for Ninja. It's not free. Current day OHL. Then I create a 3-period SMA, 3-period, and I create a 21-period EMA. I put them in a separate panel and I use them for my crossovers. Okay. Crossovers, as I've said, are a potential trade signal or a confirmation. Okay. They could be both. Then I use the JOBB trap trade utility. And we're not trading the trap trade right now, but it's like I said, I keep it all the time. And then MK Subdem Zones creates these gray zones that Stephen went over in the video yesterday. Stephen prefers to trade, and he helped design this trade. That's why I always mention him. And he has a setup that we like, a scalping setup. And he likes to trade preferably when you're not in the zones. The zones are resistance and support. Okay. So you don't want to be trading right in the zones. You want to be, he likes to call it open water in the white areas. I've never seen a chart with this many zones. Now, what I think he's saying to me, the zones are gray. Correct. The zones are gray. And what he's saying to me is when the market opens, the zones are going to change quite a bit. And again, this is a new indicator to me. Where is the job utility? You don't see the job utility, KW. It's just something that works during JOBB trades, puts the arrow on the chart. Okay. It's just something that when you're doing JOBB trades, it'll take care of some housekeeping and you see the arrow for current price. I've asked Jay 1,000 times what else it does. That's pretty much all that it does that I know of. Okay, but I put oh, one other very important thing that it does, it draws the graphics in our indicators because that's what the programmer is calling. He's calling into the utility programs to draw the graphics. Okay. So I also, my second protocol is I have been listening to CNBC, which I hadn't been doing for years. Um, and the reason I've been doing it is because if you're scalping or trading, the markets, then you want to just know what's going on in the world. It's better for you, right? And unfortunately, my software got restarted, so I lost my CNBC for a minute. Maybe I'll put it on a different computer because it wasn't working on my other one. But the point is, if you're really trading for real, you should listen to the news in the background. I realize, of course, the news isn't as fast as a Squawk Box. We also use Talking Forex as a news Squawk Box, which is very helpful. The other protocol you want to make sure that you do, and this is true of any trade, anytime you're trading, just check your favorite calendars, right? Check your favorite calendars and make sure you're not in the middle or right about to suffer through a gigantic news report. If it's a gigantic news report, we're most probably going to be trading it anyway. So for us, that's less of a problem. But for regular traders, you want to make sure, right, that you're checking the news. Make sure there isn't a gigantic news report at the moment you decide to do a little scalping on the NQ or trend trading. It could throw you right out of the trade. Don't forget tomorrow, 8:30, register for the retail room. Okay? Register for the retail room. I haven't sent hardly any emails on it yet. That's been an excellent trade for us. I'll throw it up right now. This was not a trading room, so I don't want anybody to panic. This is an educational room today. So don't get worried that we're going to miss something. We're not going to miss anything. And anyway, with this type of trade, it could trade all day. You could find trades all day long. So it's just not something you have to worry about. So make sure you sign up for the retail room. But you're checking your favorite calendars. I check more than one. Okay. That's how I do things. I check investing.com. Sometimes I'll check Econoday. Sometimes I'll check fasteconomicnews.com. Probably a bunch of you are wondering what happened last night on NAB Business Confidence. Why didn't we have a trade room? Had we had a trade room, we would have sat in the trade. If it would barely have been filled, the news was slightly bullish. The trade barely filled. I doubt in real life that, I don't even think in real life it would have filled, but in sim it filled by one tick. So let's assume it did fill. It would have sat for 2.5 minutes and done nothing. Uh, but if you stayed in the trade for 5 minutes, it possibly would have hit your 3 tick first target, and then it would have reversed and stopped you out. Okay. That's kind of why we're not trading that news report. It's dead. It's really dead. Used to be great. Used to be a great report. But it just hasn't had the activity that it used to have. So I'll keep watching it. If it comes back, I'll bring it back. All right. So in case anyone's interested, that's why we didn't. I think we're justified in not having a room. I'm not enjoying reports that don't move at all. There's a couple of small ones that I found that are acceptable. Um, but I don't think anybody enjoys those little trades that just don't move. They're just not good news trades. A couple of them we may try as consolidation trades, but I kind of think they're not. If they don't work, they generally don't work. So it's no point in. Sometimes we have to give up a trade. It's just the way it is. And of course, we'll keep looking for new ones. We're always looking for new trades. So again, to go back to the charts, I'll show you on a new chart what I do. Sometimes Ninja can be kind of goofy. So let's say you create a new NQ chart. We use a 210 tick chart for this strategy. It's NQ318. It's on tick, but it's on 150, so put it on 210. You could right click it and set it default, so every time you pull up a 210 tick chart, it'll come up. Just as a matter of habit, I use default 24/7 so that if I decide I want to use the JOBB pivots, they'll be recognized. So I put it on default 24/7. I only load a couple of days, 3 days. I don't want to slow down my Ninja. So let's say I have a chart. The other thing I like to do to my chart is I right click it, I go to properties and slightly scroll down, and my right side margin 4 is just way too small. I don't like when the price is right up against the margin. This is a personal thing. I make it 35, and that way I have a little space. You don't have to do that. These are personal things. So then the first indicator I'm going to put on this chart, ADV XMA alerts. Make sure the period is 7. And you know what? Just so you don't have to worry about that in the future, set it as a default. So there's my ADXMA, VMA, very easy. The next indicator is the ANA Supertrend I'll put on it. ANA Supertrend U11. And most of these I've downloaded already, okay? So you got to download them. In order to download an indicator, in case you don't know, utilities, import NinjaScript, desktop, wherever you put it, you have to know where it is, okay? And then you find that file and double click on it, okay? So you import indicators. Most indicators will get imported, all right? Just like our strategies. And feel free to ask any questions. Any questions, feel free. Stephen, do you want to show the open like in a minute or two? I can always come back to putting my indicators on. Then the other thing I do is I create a EMA and an SMA, okay? My EMA is a 21, so you go down to EMA, find it, double click on it, and change the period to 21. I leave the color. I don't mind the color. The only thing I do is I click on plots and I make the line 3. Okay? Okay it. See, it's over here. Then I drag it down to put it in its own panel. Then I'm going to do the same thing, indicator with an SMA. If I can find it. My SMA is a 3. I'm going to make it black. I click on plots. I'm going to make my width 3 so I could see it nicely. Click on the color so you get the arrow, the drop box. Black is up top, not transparent, but black. Apply it, okay. And then I want to make sure I click on this black, not on the candles. Hope I got it. Let's see. And this is the one issue I've had with Ninja where, there we go. Sometimes you have to slide it up. Get them in the same panel. Sometimes you have to fiddle with Ninja a little bit. Sometimes you can tell it, use a panel. In other words, if you look at the indicator. Stephen, get ready. I'm going to throw you on in a minute. If you look at the indicator, it will say panel and make sure it's 2. Up here is 1, down here is 2. Make sure they're both 2, okay, for the EMA and the SMA. Then make sure you save your workspace, and you can create a template. Okay. We could save this template and that way you can have it if you load those two indicators just load those two indicators. It'll put the SMAs on. We'll call it save as trade room and today's date. That way I'll know this is the right template to give you. Okay. So that template is saved. I could close this. Stephen, I'm going to make you a presenter. Good morning, Robert. And let's see what you would do at the open if we have enough. We should have enough time. Stephen, you're ready to go. I hope. Yep. Now, I had trouble with if the sound doesn't work this morning, Stephen. Let me know if you're talking because I don't hear you, and I've had some trouble with Ninja and sound. So tell me if you're talking because I'm not hearing you. Are people hearing Stephen? No, no one's hearing you, Steve. Let me see if, you know, let me see if nobody's hearing. Bear with us, folks. Sometimes technology doesn't work. Hold on, his mic's not on, he's saying. No, you're hearing my TV in the background, I think. So I'll give it a minute. Stephen, give it, I'm still not hearing you. And sometimes we wing it, folks. We didn't test it this morning, which look, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'll go back to my charts and just go back. We'll look at the open. Stephen, what's funny is I don't even see you on go to webinar. So I can't try to turn your mic on.
All right, I'm having you are unmuted, it says.
We got you now. You're good. And then it went dead. I think you might, you know what, we had some trouble.
There. How's that?
You're good. You're good.
All right. I unmuted it here.
Okay. Very good. Look, I know you weren't expecting this morning. Not your fault.
Okay, but here's Chantel software, what it's doing right now. It got into a trade up here at about 836 right here, and this is her running strategy. I just got it here running, and this down here was $600, which is where I would have gotten out, but she keeps it running until she runs into a green area, her next green area. But this is not bad for the day.
No, not at all. So you're saying she started. Where'd you get in? Where'd you get in?
I just turned this thing on. This is transaction got in here about 8:30. This one right here. Okay. It's still running. It got right here and it's still running. Just continue running until she runs into another green area, which turns it off.
Okay. And obviously it got in short, but did not stop you out.
No. It doesn't. Her stops are like 40.
Right. That's right. She has a big stop. She has a big stop.
Because big stop.
It's a trend trade.
Yeah. So, but I was looking at it to see if we could maybe improve on this, or like once I'm up $600, I'd like to keep it.
Right. So I'm just looking real quickly, Stephen. It looks to me, obviously, it looks like you got in 6502, right?
Yes, right. That's where she got in, up here, 6502.
Okay. So you wouldn't have gotten stopped till 6512 or 42. Is she using,
no, actually, way back. It would have to go back up here to get stopped out.
Is she using 40 points? Or I forget if she's using 40 points or
40 ticks. 40 ticks.
So that's 10 points.
Right.
So it would have had to gone to 6512.
Yes, to get stopped out.
Okay, so you didn't come close to being stopped on that trade.
No. Actually, it came in this direction. I tried her software with a trailing stop,
Okay.
meaning once it gets down here, then it would get stopped out here. But the results weren't very good.
Okay, because I think I'll talk to her. I thought, hey Chantal, I can put your mic on too. Chantal, if you want to talk, you could talk. I thought you use a trailing stop. Am I losing my mind?
No, she
No,
doesn't.
I don't.
You
No, she
don't
doesn't.
use it. Okay, so you don't use a trailing stop on this trade.
It's not as good as her setup right now. If you use a trailing stop, your results are terrible.
Okay, I should
Yeah,
explain to people in the room, Stephen, that those red and green zones are created by a software program called Bloodhound,
correct.
and they are not required to enter or exit the trade. And since you're showing it, Stephen, Chantal, do you want to just explain briefly? Right, Celeste is saying we can't see your pointer, Stephen. It's not moving.
Oh, here. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so just next time, so you know,
Right.
Chantal, if you don't have Bloodhound, which a lot of people don't because it's not cheap software, how would you have determined to enter and where would you have entered? And I know we're missing the open, but there's a million opens, folks. We didn't come here to
Can,
do the open, so don't worry about it.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just that we cannot see the other indicators on your chart, Stephen.
Right.
But
He doesn't
I'm
use the
using,
same as you. He uses different ones.
yeah, but I'm using the ADX VMA alert.
Okay.
Oh,
And
okay. Yeah. That's in the software. It's not on my. I mean,
yeah,
I could, for example, I could put that on here. Let me just throw that right up there. Let me just throw that on.
but
All right.
Stephen, it seems that your screen is frozen.
Yeah.
No,
You're
is
not,
it?
price is not moving on
Oh,
your chart.
all right. I don't know. Do you have a refresh over here? Um, not sure what.
Now it's
Okay,
moving.
now it's working.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a refresh. All righty.
Okay,
All
so
right.
you could see where Stephen got in.
Well, this Chantel got in right over here,
Right, right.
and it went all the way up, and now you can see where she just got out and then got back in.
Okay, now she would get in, it's 9:30, so she would have gotten in. Chantal, would you have taken that long at 9:30 when the zone changed?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and you will now
But it would have
stay
been
in.
stopped.
It would have been stopped because it went 40 points and it would have lost $200, which will
Yeah.
happen in these volatile markets. However, there's no law that says you can't have a 40-point stop is $200. The greatest trader that I know says if you don't use $300 per contract, then you're going to get stopped out way more than you should. So I don't argue against a wider stop, Chantal,
No,
to cover $300.
especially with that volatile market.
Exactly, exactly. So, Stephen, talk about the open only because a lot of people don't have Bloodhound. Maybe
Okay.
show
All right.
your normal stuff and then.
All right. Yeah, we should have gotten in right here.
Okay, that's okay.
No.
So,
Okay.
explain why. Explain why.
Well, actually, because we crossed over the 21-day moving average here, the SMA, and then we broke through the U11 right here. That in itself would be a nice. I'm sure this range was actually down here when it was in here.
Right.
The range was closer in here, so you would have bought right in here and rode it up, and then you would have gotten stopped out on the way back.
Right, but you would have made your target. Definitely your first target without question.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Stephen uses a scalping setup, just so you know. He uses a scalping setup for this.
Right. Now, market's open. See, now we've got some resistance right up here. Now you got rid of all that support that was down here.
Right.
That's all.
You have those zones as well on your charts?
Right, that zone is gone now because it's been satisfied.
Okay.
Whereas this up here, we have a lot of sellers up here.
Okay.
So getting through that zone, see it's going up to the zone and then turning. So that's something that
That's a
right.
very strong reason why Stephen uses those zones. Price often
Stephen,
hits them and turns, changes direction.
Correct. So
can you explain something, Stephen?
Say that again, Chantal.
Can you explain something, Stephen, about those zones?
oh yeah, this right here, these zones, these are
No,
what are
no,
called.
I understand the zone, but what about the numbers on the on the right?
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what those are. They're telling. I have to go read it, but it's telling how far this zone, how long this zone has been in here, and how far back it goes. Is what those numbers are telling me in the end of those zones. It's how old is the zone? And that's how many people are in on it. It explains it in the software when you go to download it.
Okay.
I haven't read it.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I think we're all download things, and as long as they work, sometimes we don't care what something says.
Right.
If it's
But
working.
maybe they're important. I don't know.
Right, that's right. Might not be a bad idea for us to check things for sure.
Right. All I know is that's a zone right there, and that's now. It looks like it's getting ready to go short right here.
Yep, it sure does.
Because it broke through. It broke through that over there.
I'd put
All
it
right.
on.
Turned right around and went back up.
Now, see, I would have put it on and then I might have canceled. Although it did your retrace, Stephen. In other words, it did
Yeah.
sort of what you like. Yesterday,
Right, exactly.
it did a little retrace, which is not a bad thing, and then it followed back the other way.
Right, exactly. So that worked.
That would have got
not-
your
I'm
first
not
target
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. That well, it must have skipped right over the stop because it turned around and came right back down. Huh, that was interesting. Oh, here.
Price
Let's
is pretty jumpy.
it is. And it is in the morning, but we're not as bad as we have been in the past.
Yep, you could sort of tell that. There's a couple of things on the dome that might tell you that the numbers are a little closer together than they have been,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seems like an open, a little bit more
Right.
like but it's still volatile, more than it's been.
True. Yeah, very true. So now we got a bigger zone here. But see, Chantel got that $200 back here.
Right.
Had it, and
That's right. So let's wait for one trade from you, Stephen, and then I'll go back to showing people how to set up the charts.
all right. Let's.
So maybe talk through everything that's going through your head. That's
Okay.
That's the best.
Well, I'm waiting for this thing to cross through these two items right here to see if it goes up there. All right. Now we're up. There we go. Okay. Oh, I know what it is. I remember I changed the
Your targets.
I changed the targets. I was going to say, why was that so far apart? It was they're 5 now, 5 and 10, I think, on this thing.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Changed them yesterday.
Right. All right. Now we're going back up into here. Let's put the range back on, but we're going back up into this supply area again. And that's what happens is it bangs against this resistance resistance so many times, and then it'll finally go through it. But you don't want to be buying it once you're coming onto resistance until it actually goes through it. Well, now for your pivot, this might be a nice place to turn around and go in the opposite direction. But what do we got here? I got good momentum. I got good momentum. I've got all green lines, but it's I don't know. Well,
It's fighting. It's fighting the zone, but it's pushing it.
But it's going through it. I'm going to try it. And see what happens. Okay. This I don't know where the Huh, that's strange. Something's a little screwy here because I don't have anything up here.
Yep, I saw your everything disappeared on you.
Huh. And I got to change it back to the 4.6. I got to change my things back because this is we're in an uptrend. Okay. So I mean,
You're in a
if you
trade,
really, I'm still in a trade. So
right?
if I wanted to like cut my losses in half, I could come in here and say, here, let's come on down and get that trade. All right. But it's, come on. Well, okay. I'll settle for this. Now here's the thing I was telling you about. Oh, son of a gun. It won't, here. What is that? Oh, all right. Because I put this thing on it. There. All right. Up.
With the dome moving that fast, it's really hard to trade off the dome, isn't it?
All right, now see these right here. I'm using a yellow button on that one. That is, boy, it jumps right over it. Close it, close it, close it, close it, close it. See, the trouble is it's jumping right over the trades because
Right.
I've got the trades on just a specific. So I hit the close button to get rid of it, and
it freezes because the
yeah,
volatility is so crazy.
right,
You
exactly.
want to try and avoid that close button. It really hurts you
True. I know. Let's
with this kind of volatility.
just to see if I can find out what it looks like. See, down 350. It killed me.
Yep.
Killed me.
That's what I was saying yesterday. I would never hit the close button. But that's also, Stephen, why I really like to trade where I always have my X's on the charts. So I don't ever have to, I never want to depend on that dome, me personally, because I can't function if I have to function with the dome.
Right.
Screw up my trades.
All right. What do we got here? My Raven's still running. Okay, good. All right. They're still.
You're back now.
But, yeah. And, but this is Raven over here. This is Chantel's. It's working pretty good over there too. So, let's see. Where we are? Oh, this is where we are. Okay. See, now it didn't get through that zone.
Right. Now, see, I might have canceled if I put a trade on and I see red candles. If I put a long on and I immediately see red candles, I have a tendency to cancel and wait.
Yeah, I just wonder what the specs are here because it's those didn't come out. Let's see, I got 4.6. This should be all right. This is 15.3. No, those are that's all good. That's all good. All right. Wonder I didn't see my bars come out when I all right. Maybe this time it'll go through. I'm not sure, but it is in an uptrend, which is what it looks like.
Right.
I mean, but here again, we got to break through. It looks like we're headed down.
I mean, you could see a fair amount of good reasoning behind not trading when it's in the zone.
Right.
Look at the chop. It went down, it went up the exact same amount. That's a hard way to make money.
Yes. Very true. So it looks like, feels like we're headed down, but it then turns and goes back up. We're just in a get everybody out, and then we'll make our move.
Right.
Okay. Feels like it's going to come down, but I don't see it yet.
Right. I don't see a signal yet. Tell people what some of your signals would be.
Well, this momentum has got to be down here below. This momentum signal has got to be down. We're in consolidation right now, right here, because of the purple dots. That's all consolidation.
Okay.
This has got to come out below those lines before you take a short. This is, of course, where you would take your long over here, and that would have worked out for us. All right. So now, all right. So all right. We came down. All right. Let's put it in here and try to take a short. All right. Now turned right around and went right back up.
Right.
And for some reason, something's not happening here because
Yeah,
it should have taken me out.
Your stop's not working for some reason.
Right,
Now,
exactly.
for me personally, if I start experiencing, in sim, or obviously if I have one real trade that doesn't work, I'll reboot everything, my computer, everything. I just will not tolerate.
I do the same.
Yeah.
I do the
So
same.
just everybody understand that if ever you run into an issue like this, and it could happen with anything, we don't know why sometimes these things happen. Um, we have not had reports of the software not working properly, so we've used
True.
it a million times. It might just be that something in the computer. So what do? You don't panic. You might have a losing trade. You live with it and you reboot absolutely everything and check your indicators, check your settings, make sure everything is correct. And
Right.
9 times out of 10, that solves your problem.
Right. Okay. All right. Now what I did is I just, for some reason, Chantel's also got shut down. So, all right. All right.
Why don't I let you reboot, Stephen, and I'll talk about setting up charts.
Okay.
And it's not a problem. We'll use. What about the fact Mike's bringing up an interesting question? You're trading both strategies in the same sim account using the same index.
Yes.
Isn't that part of the problem?
No, because this isn't. Is this? It might be the problem.
Yeah, because to me, why wouldn't you get closed down if you get a close? If you're not in separate sim accounts, right?
Yep.
I would think that if Chantal gets a trade signal and closes you, it's going to close you. Doesn't matter.
It shouldn't, but it's not supposed to. I've traded multiple strategies before, and they don't affect each other. But this might be. Yeah, this might be because she's back. We're trading NQ over here as well.
Right.
All right.
I've traded multiple strategies, but not with the same index in the same account.
Right. That might be.
That's what I've always been afraid to do it. I wouldn't do it live personally. I would not.
Right. Right. I'll take. Let's just take her off and see if that solves the problem here.
Right.
Not
So you
sure.
threw on a trade. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, just see if it comes down and
Right.
gets this, and then
We
all of a
really
sudden,
want it to work. I don't care if it stops or whatever. Let's just see. It'll probably stay in the middle of the zone now for like an
right?
hour.
Exactly. Let's see here. Let's center this. Nah, probably will. Probably stay here.
Right. We give it a second. It's early.
Okay, because that is the first time that
That's ever
happened.
Right. And it's the first time you're trading both the same index in the same account.
Right, but I've had several strategies on before, but none of them have ever been Bloodhound.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
The strategy with Bloodhound is not designed to be used as
There,
a
it's
strategy.
just worked over there. Yeah.
Okay. You just made that trade. It's not designed. Say that again, Chantal.
It's not designed to be used as a strategy. Not that one. Not like that.
Explain, please.
Because I made the other one with the only first candle that is even a background of green or red.
Okay.
That one can be used as a strategy, but not the one that you got in, Stephen.
Okay, but I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that was the BHT we were sending so people could experiment with it, that it was a strategy. Am I wrong? Are we wrong?
For me, the way that I design it is just to tell you that it's time to go short or it's time to go long for a scalping trade.
But you're trading it manually, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not designed to run for a strategy and to be good for a strategy. I can see that they're all losing trades.
But the other one is?
The other
Oh,
one,
no. Okay,
I
wait. Let me correct you. You're saying it's not designed to be a scalping strategy
yes, but not even a strategy
at all.
at all. No,
All right.
because
What? Yeah.
Okay, I
You
think.
turn your like for this first red one would only there would be just a single red one here, right?
yes, and I designed that one with the single signal only to show me that it's uh, profitable, that it's possible to make something with that. But after that, when I see that it's good, I designed that to work only with manually sculpting.
Okay, because this strategy right here does produce, a lot of trades here. I mean, as far as that's, you know,
Yes, it's a lot of trade, and if it's not volatile, it's not going to work.
Okay.
But for the strategy like you are using, Stephen, like a scalping strategy, for me, it's when it's turned red, it's the time to go in with your strategy. And when it's turned green, it's the time to go in with your strategy. That's all.
okay. Oh, it's time to put the strategy on. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
That's why I designed this. It's to be
okay,
everybody can use it as just
because that makes sense because this would have gone this would have gotten out. You would have done all right here then. Because
yes,
you would have put it on and you would have gotten the upper end of it.
Okay,
And
absolutely.
let me stop both of you for a second so people understand, and then I want to move off of Bloodhound because a lot of people don't have it. What you're saying, Chantal and Stephen, with this is that you're not using the Bloodhound to work as a strategy. You're turning the JOBB strategy on when you get your Bloodhound signals. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay,
correct.
that. Is everybody understand that who got a copy of this file? You're not
Which
using it as
makes
a Bloodhound strategy, okay? And let's yeah, I want to show people the chart, Stephen, and so I could get ready for the 10:30 trade.
the Bloodhound.
No, I want to show them just the regular stuff.
Oh, all right.
So if you want to show them one more trade, or let me move to setting up the charts. I don't know how long it's going to take because I have to do Ninja 8 also, and then I
Okay.
want to do the 8:30 trade.
All
So
righty.
I'm sorry for a little bit of confusion with Bloodhound folks, but it's okay. And Stephen, thank you. I know you weren't planning on coming on this morning.
Right.
So, but it's important that we got to the bottom of that for Bloodhound users. Does everybody understand? If you have a question, please email me and I'll forward it to Chantal if necessary about Bloodhound. Bloodhound, what she's saying very simply is that you're not using the Bloodhound itself as a strategy. You're using it to get your signal to turn the JOBB on and use the strategy, the one-click range trade strategy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chantal, but I believe that that's what you're saying.
That's exactly that.
Okay, very good.
Beautiful.
Okay, all right. So let me just go back to just chart creation a little bit because that was the main thing I wanted to show people. You can see my screens, everybody. Just give me somebody give me a heads up. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get my extra chart out. So once again, if you have an extra chart, very simply, just to go over what we did, first thing I do, I go to properties and I create a border on the right side margin. You can make it anything you want if you don't want to be right up against price. Then I loaded the two indicators, okay? And you're going to load more than two. You're going to load you can load ANA, ADVX, VMA, or the alerts. Let's check I've never used the VXMA. Let me see if it looks exactly the same for you all. And it doesn't. So you can get the alerts on Futures IO. It may be settings in it, but because I haven't used it, I don't want to waste time on it today. I just want to do exactly what I know is working for this system today. So I'm not going to use that particular indicator. I'm going to use the one I always use. I use the ADVXMA alerts. That's the one I have set. and it is available for easy download. Just don't forget to set the ADX period to 7. Then I load the super trend. Stephen, you might want to mute your mic just to be safe. I download the ANA Super Trend U11. That's my second. I download the current day OHL. That gives me the open, high, low of the day. And then I created the panels, which I'm not going to do again. I showed you how to do it. Those are the strategies. I put the JOBB trap trade and the pivot also on my chart. And let's double check to make sure I'm not missing anything. In terms of, I'm saying strategies, I mean indicators. Don't forget, you have to create SMA of 3 and EMA of 21. And you put them in a separate panel, and that's what creates this. Current day OHL, we're not forgetting anything. That is everything. That's everything that you need. I take that back. If you then go to the right here, the other important indicator that we like, the ANA squeeze, we like when it's in purple dots, we don't trade because that's telling us the market is consolidating. And the ANA squeeze is easily available for download. Again, it's in the document. Members can request the document. It's free for members. The other important indicator we use is the Williams AD0 lag. Okay, Williams AD0 lag. It's a little bit tricky to find this indicator. If anybody knows 100% where it is for free, please let me know. Okay, it's a little bit hard to find it. The way that we use this indicator, and I'm not going to keep this chart right now because I've got it all exactly set up on this chart. Does anybody, let me backtrack for a second, anybody have any questions about any of the indicators that you need? Williams AD0 lag, ANA squeeze, a panel with SMA of 3, EMA of 21, ANA Super Trend U11, ADV XMA alerts, and I put my current OHL. You notice that my U11 does not have the range on true. Not sure what you're referring to, Chris. My ANA U11. Not sure what you're referring to. The lines on the right side. Yeah, I don't need them. I do not need them. But tell me what you're referring to and I'll turn it on. Because I don't see anything that says, you're saying the ANA Super Trend range? Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't see anything that even refers to a range. Offset type, true range. Not sure, Chris. So it's okay. I don't use them. I don't need them. I put my time on. Always check your time. Always check your time. Are you talking the zones? Because that's the one thing I forgot. Don't forget your MK sup dem zones. Okay. And the reason I forgot it is because sometimes it disappears on you. Mine seems to disappear a little bit too often. I'm going to get a different file because I'm not so sure my file's working properly, but it's okay. I can still explain everything I need to explain. So I left one out. Again, it's in the document. Those are all the indicators you need. ADV XMA, ANA Supertrend, Joe Drap, the bracket utility, SMA 3 and 21, trap trade utility, and the MK subzones. Okay. Then on the right, the reason I like to do it with two charts, in an emergency, if I put a trade on, I always like to have a chart where my orders are on that chart and they'll always be on my left chart. I don't ever want to have to, me personally, I never want to have to depend on the zone, on the dome, because the dome is just, Ninja's dome for me is not workable. In a very fast market, I find it impossible to use. And I'm not making a judgment. If you like the dome, I am making a judgment. I can't stand the dome. If you like their dome, use it. It's just that simple. You have a choice to make. I don't like their dome. I don't use it. Also, make sure unequivocally right now, until we resolve any button issues that we might have, that only one workspace is open. However, Gemini, you want to look at the dome. He says, I never used the dome, and I never used the dome very much, but I'm using it more and more. You want to look at it to try to determine it's not the same as all domes, Stephen. There are domes that work ergonomically, and there are domes that don't. And the Ninja Dome is not ergonomic. And when I say ergonomic, on a normal dome, if you press the left mouse button above the current price, it'll put a stop order. The Ninja Dome does not do that. It puts a limit order. It puts you in a trade. It's completely mal-designed, however you want to call it. You have to use the mouse button to put an order in, okay? Or you'll get filled, okay? You have to press the space bar to get it to stop so you can cancel an order. I mean, there are so many things that are not ergonomic about this dome, so be very careful if you use it. However, it gives you some great clues as to the volatility of the current market that you're trading. If you turn off your link, okay, L is link, so that the instrument on the dome is the same instrument on the chart it's linked to. If you turn it off and unlink it, and for instance, you want to look at a different instrument down here, you can go to instrument and say, look at, let's say you want to look at gold. The current contract is 418. So the dome gives you the movement of gold. You can see it's jumping around quite a bit less. It's less volatile. Look, the NQ is getting a trade right there. You got a blue dot, you got a blue line, you got a very strong crossover, you got a Williams crossover, and then as it got red, you could see the Williams pointed down, okay? But my MK sub zones of resistance seem to disappear regularly, so I've got to get another file on that. I believe my file is defective. Looks like it's bursting up through. Let's see if it, so it didn't follow through. It would have stopped me out if I would have really taken that trade. And really what I did is I waited too long, if you think about it, okay? And I'm just enjoying, turn the trade back on. If you think about it, I waited too long, but I still think it's gonna go up. Once you hear that money sound, that means your first target's been hit and you're now trailing. And that means you cannot lose money on that trade. Okay. And I made back half of what I lost, almost half of what I lost. It's still, don't forget to turn it back on. Okay. To keep that range on so that if you notice that you get your trade signals and you don't want to over trade. The biggest danger of this strategy is if you're an overtrader, throw this strategy away. Don't use it. Because if you can't control yourself, you could easily kill yourself, okay? You want to be careful. You want to be careful. That I've got to verify, Bob, so I can't discuss it yet. Hasn't been verified, so I'm going to say that Bob ran into something on Ninja 8 in the software when he's shorting. So make sure your settings are working in Sim properly when you're shorting in Ninja 8, because Bob thinks he might have found an anomaly in the software that we're checking. Okay, but right now Ninja 7 seems to be working very nicely. I've not had any errors testing the software. And Mike, you asked the other day, how come you're not live? And very honestly, this is brand new. We've been dealing with it for 2 weeks, and that's why we're not live. We want to make sure everything is working exactly properly, because if it's not, you lose money. And I'm in no rush. You all know me. I'm never in a rush, and I'm ultra conservative, especially in the room. So I don't rush into trades, and I don't want to rush into losing money. And I know people do what I do, so I have to be especially careful, because you shouldn't do what I do. You should make your own decisions. Okay. So I got caught on one and I made another. And we're going to stick around long enough to do the 8:30 trade. Now I got a crossover. I'm not sure we'll get cross. We'll get follow through. Now I see a green candle. I canceled that trade because I don't want to see a green candle, even though it might be that pullback. Sometimes the way you want to trade is you'll get a red candle, then a green pullback the opposite direction, and then a follow through to the downside like we're getting right here. Is it going to follow through? The market's been kind of up, and you know it's not the strongest downward lines there. You've got choppy lines. You got an upward line on the Williams, which is going against a short. So I probably should not take a short right now because the signals are not all matching. The Williams dashed line is going up, which really is a long. The bottom line is short. I can wait. Okay, so yeah, maybe I missed that first target. Maybe I did. And now you could see the Williams is turning. I don't have to rush into the trade, okay? Because if you rush, like I did that last 2 trades ago, I lost money. I rushed. I waited too long. The trade was earlier. If you can get your trades as close to the crossovers as possible, that is very helpful. I also would very much like my domes to work. My zones, I'd like to see them. And you're right in the middle of the zones too, so that might be a reason to hang loose and just be patient. And also right now I have yellow dots. I have a consolidating market. Okay. Miguel, anybody who's a member can get the document that we have, but it's a member only document. Okay. So if you're a member and I don't know you, I'm sorry to say, if you're a member, I'll happily send you the document because it is a trade setup that's we've doing it for members. What Bob is saying is that if you check your 5-minute charts on the NASDAQ, okay, Miguel, that's why I don't know you. If you're a new member, absolutely send me an email, and I apologize for not knowing you. Use my personal email. It's right here. Now, I do like Ninja 7 better than Ninja 8 for this strategy because the indicators, I can't find the Williams AD indicator for Ninja 8. If anybody knows where it is, please tell me. I cannot find it, okay? Now, it looks like the trade is on, but it's not. The range is on, okay? We may want to change the color of the range so it's easier to see with the zones. So there is a way, if I recall, bear with me, in strategies to change the colors of the range. The range box color, I thought there was. Yes, there is. Hold on. You have to make the strategy so that you can adjust it, make it false and apply. And now I can adjust it. Slate blue seems to be a little bit close. Just for fun. See if it's easier to see. A little bit easier. So experiment with colors, folks, to see what you want your range color to be. Okay, I'm not worried about the right chart, but now that I'm using the zones, it interferes a little bit with the range color. So we'll have to do a little bit of experimentation with that. Let me stop for a second and just answer any questions that anybody has about setting up the charts. Does anybody have any questions about chart setup? And Miguel, please don't be insulted that I don't know you yet, because now I know you. Okay, Chris, it's not, that's a very important issue. This is not a separate download, folks. In December, we updated the software. Okay. In December, we updated the software. The scalping setup is 3 positions, targets of 4, targets of 6, stop of 12, break even, target 1, stop move, break even plus 2, target 2, stop move, trailing stop enabled, trailing stop step is 1, okay? 15 click look back. Graphics showing on the chart are true. And Stephen actually uses, and if we're going to use Stephen's exact scalping setup, because he helped design this, he does use 3 ticks above and below the range. Is that right, Stephen? Is that correct? I remember, I thought you used 2, but then in the yesterday's room, you said that it might have been 3. I don't see him here, so I'll find that out, but I'm pretty sure he said 3 yesterday. In these volatile markets, 1 tick, you know what? 1 tick can matter no matter what you do.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. It's funny. I don't see you on my list of attendees, which is really weird.
Huh. Okay.
It's strange. You use 3 ticks, don't you?
Yes, I use 3.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
I've seen it too often where the price will come down 1 or 2 ticks, take a lot of people out, then go in the other direction.
Okay. So that's a good reason for using 3. Okay. It's just like brackets in a breakout trade. It's a little bit of safety. And in a trend trade, you could use larger targets. Originally, when I was thinking about the 1030 trade, I was actually thinking of a 5-point move before I would even get into the 1030 trade. I don't do it that way anymore.
5 tick, you mean?
I mean 5 points. In other words, I wouldn't get in
20 ticks.
Yep, I would wait 20 ticks for a real trend change to take place. Look at long side, and I'm watching carefully. We're in zones, so I don't like breaking my own rules. We're in zones, so probably you want to wait. You want to wait here. We're at a consolidation. We do have a long signal. We have a long crossover. You need a little extra power to get through those zones, though. Let's see if it can do it. Now push through because we want 4 ticks. Now the other thing is, if you think 12 ticks is too tight for this market, which it could be, you could move your stop down. I'm going to get hit now, but you could move your stop down. And that, again, is a rule here that we broke. So if, depending on the type of trader you are, you may not have taken that trade because we're in the zones, okay? We're in the zones. You might not have taken that trade. Again, this is not a live trading seminar. This is informational. And if you look at your 5-minute charts, if they're showing chop, 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 then you want to be extremely careful, okay? You want to trade as often as possible when your situation is best for trading, right? I mean, that's just a fact of life. Hang on 1 second. I just want to see something. I want my I forgot where to get rid of the text markers, folks. Somebody give me a heads up on I don't want, when you're trading a scalping trade, you don't want all the text showing up. I just forgot where the turn off the text marker, the text is.
Right.
You remember where that is, Stephen?
Yeah. What you do is go into demand. You go into data series.
Ah, okay.
You go into data series, and down at the bottom it says "Do not plot."
Right. I don't want to plot the text.
Correct.
For these trades. So that's what I was looking for. Thank you. There we go. And that just cleans up the chart. But we wanted to look at a 5-minute chart. Get a feeling for what the price action's been doing up. down, down, up, consolidation in 5 minutes.
See, whenever you see long bars and whenever you see those long bars like that,
Hmm.
you really want to stay out of the market when you get these long bars and long
Tails.
wicks,
Yep.
because it's really wow. It's something you want to stay away from. It's
More,
just
better
yeah.
trading here.
Yes,
Better
correct.
trading here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could see that this looks choppy because that's what the wicks generate. Okay.
Right.
Or that's what they show you. So it takes time. That's why you don't want to rush into trading this strategy. There's a lot of nuances to trading this way. And you want to practice. And if you practice for a month, that's okay. You don't have to go live the first week that something comes out. Okay. The NG trade is not a trade, the news trade. You mean the NQ trade we're talking about right now, Robert? No, it was the one that Stephen was doing. We were just showing the opening, not a news trade, not a news trade. And look, you're getting a push through, but again, look at it reverse. Breaking the rules if you take that trade, right? You're breaking it. You're breaking it. So you don't want to do it, right? You don't want to do it. You see that red? Cancel it, right? I wouldn't take that trade with real money. I'm in the middle of zones here. And it might have worked. It might have worked, but there are a million trades that will work if you wait so that you're in the white, the safer place to trade. You don't have to trade 30 times a day if you don't want to. You could trade 5 times, okay? And I'll explain the setup on the 1030 trade. First, I'll stop for a second. Oh, Chris, I understand what you're talking about. Okay, I had a funny feeling. Chris was confused because he was mistaking the range for part of the indicator. The range is not part of the indicator. The range is created when we put our strategy on. Okay, no problem, Chris, but probably other people are thinking that also. The 1030 trade is not a scalp trade. Okay. It's a trend trade. It's been noticed by a lot of different people. But before I go, uh, okay, Chantal, take care and I'll talk to you later. Before I get the setup, I just want to backtrack for a second. Does anyone need any help in setting up the charts? You've got Williams AD0 lag. You've got the Anna squeeze, SMAs in a separate panel. ADX VMA alerts I use, and the ANA super trend. Okay. And I put my JOBB utilities on and the current day OHL. And then when my zones stop working, I forget that they're there. So I'm not sure if it's a bad file. Steven says his disappear, but not as often. So zones seem to be good safety. Any last question? I'm going to reset everything for the 1030 trade so we could do it from scratch, okay? It's not that I'm afraid of showing that I lost simulated money. Simulated money is not real, just like a positive trade with sim doesn't mean all that much other than the fact that you might have seen something that's going to take place, okay? We probably take too much credit for having good sim trades, and I think I'm guilty of it as well. I'm going to reset my simulator by going to Tools, Options, Simulator, Reset, Sim, and I just want to start with zero money so you could see the 1030. We'll see if the 1030 trade would work or not today. It is a trend trade, so you're not going to have a lot of slippage getting into the trade. I have to remember my setup. Let me get my notes. Bear with me. It's a one-click range trade. I'm not going to use 4 and 6 as my targets. I'm going to use bigger. I'm only going to use 2 contracts though. And it can be set in a variety of ways. This is not etched in stone, this setup, okay? This setup is not etched in stone. If it's a 30 tick stop, somebody calculate for me how much money that is per contract on the NASDAQ. It's $5 a tick, so it's 150 bucks. It's a $300 stop roughly. Right? NASDAQ is 20 bucks a point. 30 ticks is 6 points. Is 30 ticks? 30 ticks would be 4 into 30. 4 points per tick. 4 ticks per point. I'm not going to have a second stop move. I'm going backwards, but I am going to trail. Okay, I am going to trail. So let me go over my personal setup. If I decide that the NASDAQ is worth trading at 1030, if I feel we're getting enough signals, and I'm going to wait until 1030. Okay, you don't do it early. You don't go in early. Although, you know, it's ironic that I say that. I've seen times where it did move early, I'm sorry to say. It's not that I'm sorry to say, it's just that you got to get comfortable enough with the trade where you trade it enough where you see that, hey, maybe it is moving early, so you might take the risk. But as a general rule for teaching the trade right now, I'm not going to enter the trade early, okay? I don't use the zones on this trade because it's not a scalping trade. It's a trend trade, okay? It's a trend trade. For now, I'm going to not use the zones, okay? So my setup is I'm going to enter the trade 2 ticks above. Look how, even though you're in the zones, you did have a nice trade there. You had a nice crossover. You had a nice crossover on Williams. Okay, but let me set it up and then we can talk about that trade we just missed, which is not, again, not the end of the world. You're going to miss plenty. I'm going to use 2 ticks above and below. If I decide I want to enter, I want to get into the trade reasonably quickly. I'm using 2 positions. If you trail with a big enough second target, it will trail until it hits that target. But if you really want to trail the right way, you should not set a second target, okay? You'll still get stopped because you have your stop set. But so I'm going to set the trail not to have a second target. That's the proper way to trail. My trail is on. It's moving 1 tick per trail. My stop loss is 30 ticks. I would even consider 40 ticks for this trend trade, okay? 40 ticks is 10 points. It's $200 per contract. I mean, that's the proper way to do it, in my opinion. It's not, and it really looks like it's taken off early, okay, today. But we're still going to wait till 1030. We could get stopped out. Life will not end, okay? But you want to be careful. You want to have enough money in your account to trade these types of trades. If you're taking a 40 tick stop, that's 10 points, $200 per contract, okay? So that's a $400 stop on the trade because we're using two positions. Anybody have any questions about the setup? The NASDAQ 1030 trade is a trend trade. It's not a scalp, okay? It's not a scalp. Question? Anyone? Everybody's good? Everybody's good? Okay. It's ultimately, this is not that complicated. I realize I've been going over. I want to beat it into you how to set this up because I think it's a really good trade. Okay. We're out of the zones, which is nice. Okay, but we're early, so we're not trading yet. We're going to watch a little bit. So let's talk about this previous trade. What happened? You got a real nice crossover, right? Really nice. Right before the ADXVMA came out of the color, came out of the dots. Created a long color. You had your ANA line pointing up. Certainly you can't argue with that as a potential confirmation. The time of the crossover, it was 10/19/45. One of the negatives was that the ANA squeeze was in a squeeze, but you had so many positive signals. Your dashed line on the Williams AD was strongly moving up, as was the darker blue line on the Williams AD, strongly trending up. So you had a lot of good reasons to take a short right here, okay? And you would not have been hurt on it by any means. You would not have been hurt on it, okay? Good morning, Arthur. So those are the signals that we're looking for. Those are the signals we're looking for. We're looking for crossovers. We're looking for dots to end and a line to come out of the dots, preferably in a strong directional move. We're looking for the Williams AD to move in a strong directional manner, okay? If it's a long, we prefer the dotted line to be above the blue, but sometimes it takes time for it to get there. I would not let that stop me. I think the direction is more important, okay? Now this 1030 trade can be tricky to get into. You got to make sure that you're getting enough signals for the trade to work. Ideally, it's a trend trade. You don't want to get out with scalping profits, but what's the tendency of every trader? It's to take a profit and get out with scalping profits. If you're not showing the buttons, Chris, you probably have multiple workspaces open. So that's the thing to check. If your buttons are not showing up, you cannot have two workspaces open because the buttons are going to show up on the might show up on, you can only have one workspace open, only one. Not charts, workspaces. It is possible to get the buttons on this right chart. That will sometimes happen. Now, looks like it almost looked like you had a scalp getting ready to take place there, but look, you're in consolidation. You're up against the zones. You shouldn't take that trade, right? You do have a crossover, but you have upward in the Williams, and it didn't work. It didn't work, okay? It did not work. So be patient. This trade is going to teach you patience because otherwise you're going to lose money. And I'll say it 100 times. If you want to trade this trade, don't be impatient. Don't constantly turn it off and on, turn it off and on. Steven can do that because he's an expert at doing that. He knows how to do it. He helped design it. Okay. I probably would be best waiting for rules. Okay. We're at 1027. We're still in consolidation. What I'm hoping, what I'd love to see is for us to stay in consolidation until 1030. And then at 1030, I'd like to see us pop out of that consolidation. The one thing I want to take off is my zones because for this trade, I don't use them. Now, unfortunately, we've come out of consolidation a little bit early. Okay, we do have a crossover. We do have a nice strong crossover there. I'm going to wait until 1030. If I miss the trade, today I missed the trade. I'm going to try and wait until 1030. To turn the trade on, all I have to do is click the one-click range button twice. Okay, and I have to click it twice. There are conflicting signals here a little bit. You've got the blue line heading upward. I don't want it heading upward, okay? No one said this would be easy. However, we could try to make it as easy as possible by waiting for as many signals as possible. It's a shame. It looks to me like this trade is working early. It's coming out early. Can we last 2 more minutes? Can we last 2 more minutes? How much movement have we had? 65.26. It's moved 5 points, okay? But look, it reversed. Williams is up. Let's wait for our rules. Okay, you could take the trade at 10:35. You could take the trade at 10:35. Put the range off and on, Chris. Turn the range off and on. The buttons will come back. Wave, I turn the trade on, but it enters automatically. I decide if I want to trade by clicking the button, and then it enters automatically, determined by how many ticks above or below the range my strategy is set for. That's how it enters, okay? But I actually turn the trade on manually. It's looking a little short, isn't it? We've almost got a crossover here. The Williams is crossing over. I don't need to rush just because it's 10:30. I don't have to rush. We're now in a consolidation. So now I'm seriously waiting for the next pop out of consolidation. See, that was not a very powerful trade. You might, if miraculously you got in exactly the right time, I don't think that trade would have worked for most people. I mean, the scalp trade, we have a big stop. You'd still be in it short. If you got in there, you'd still be in it. Okay? We have a pretty big stop. But I'm not going to enter manually. I'm going to turn it on manually. I'd like to see the consolidation end before I take this trade. I will not take the trade if the consolidation doesn't end. And if you think it's not a lot of pressure, even to trade sim in front of the whole trade room, it is a lot of pressure because I don't want to look stupid. But I want to follow my rules here. The market's pretty darn choppy. Tuesday's a good day to trade. I at least want to be out of, if I've got a red line, I've got the Williams, I have the crossover is questionable, but it's there. Not the greatest setup. We have a big stop. The market seems down. If I don't like what I see, I can hit the enable button and cancel and wait. Okay? Let me tell you why I'm waiting. The line is straight. I would like to see it head down or up. I would prefer that. That's why I canceled. Although it looks like it's really, my Williams is fighting me. My Williams is fighting. Now it's not, but the dotted line is flattish. These are not perfect conditions, but it looks like it's heading. So now we have a pretty big stop. The question is, will we get any follow through? That's the question. Will we get follow through? We're now, no matter what happens, and here's a very interesting point. Something that you might not want to do in a trend trade. You might not want to move your stop as close to the buy as we did. It still trails if you move it, but we might get stopped because I don't think we want to move our stop as close to the entry in a trend trade, and that's a value I'm going to have to work on. Okay, but I got the direction right. Everything directionally is fine. The stop is darn close. I don't want it that close. It's trailing. Let it trail. I'll let it work. I'll let it work. And now it's going to kick back. I don't want it. I'm fighting my trail. I'm fighting my trail, but you understand why I'm moving that stop. Okay, the stop was just too darn close. I think there is a better way. If you're going to do a trend trade, look, you can make a decision. $135 is not enough in this trade. It's just not enough. That's not the idea of the trade. Okay, it's not the idea of the trade. It'll work as a scalp trade if you get all your signals at 10:30, because generally you're going to get a move. Okay, generally you're going to get a move. But the idea is, when you use the trail in the manner that we used it, it defeats the purpose of our stop being big to keep you in the trade. So it might just be you don't want to trail your stop in this trade. Okay, that might be the easiest solution to deal with the trade. And because these markets are so abnormal, making $135 on a slight, we made more than 135 because we were down 75. We made $200 on that trade. And the point is, the markets are volatile, but I still believe, had we not moved our stop, we'd still be in the trade. We'd now be making more money because it's still heading down. Okay. Just for a second there it did, and then it reversed. But I think everybody understands what I'm saying. No, Arthur, it's actually $200 from before. It's a total of $200. And then the trade reversed right now. Okay. This might have stopped you out. All right. You would have been protecting some profit probably. So that big pop up might have stopped you out. But I think everybody sees we're simming, Arthur. We're teaching. We're teaching. Anybody have any questions about the NQ trade, the 1030? You could actually probably take this trade again. Okay. You could take it again. You could trade my method. There's no reason why you couldn't trade with bigger targets if you want to take more risk, right? If you want to take more risk. What got us out of the trade so fast, which in retrospect, look at the change in market direction, which might have been a good thing. But what got you is the way that the strategies were set up. If you have your break even, something like break even minus, I'm just thinking for a second, you have to have some good movement. I think what you have to do in this trend trade is not trail it. You have to trail it manually. I think you have to trail it manually. Ted says, I'll take the 100. I know you will, Ted. I absolutely get it. I absolutely get it. You'll take the 100 because Ted's a scalper. Ted likes to scalp. He doesn't want to hang around in a trade. That's his style. That's what he's comfortable with. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Okay. Let's see what happens if you don't trail. Okay. I'm not trading for real. I'm demonstrating. Okay. We have a 40 tick stop. We have a 10 tick target. The other thing you could do is in a trend trade, take a bigger target. Okay. You can take a bigger target. Remember, when you start using this trade, keep the range on. Keep your check enabled. It doesn't mean you're in the trade. It just means your range is on. So you can decide when you want to get into a trade. Okay? It Doesn't mean the trade is on. It just means the range is on. Now, I've got to believe there has to be a couple of questions. The signals are pretty straight ahead, right? Everybody understand the signals. Sometimes you don't get a crossover and it still qualifies as a signal. When you get movement in the direction of the trade, sometimes you have to have your wits about you and say to yourself, hey, that's okay. It's almost as good as a crossover. Sometimes you don't get the exact perfect situation with your signals, but you still have a signal, okay? You still have a signal. Williams is very straight ahead. You don't want a flat line. Look how flat that line is. That's so perfect for not taking a trade that I can't say anything more than look at that flat line in the Williams. No trade, okay? That's what that's telling you. No trade. Wait, just wait. What's the rush? What do you got to trade for? To lose money? I don't. I don't want to lose money. I hate losing money. I hate losing money in sim. You know that? I hate losing money in sim. I hate it. There's nothing I hate more than losing money. There's got to be questions. I just can't believe someone doesn't have a question. I'm happy to answer. The indicators are to confirm the momentum. Exactly, Miguel. The indicators confirm your momentum. Look, it's moving up now, right? But I'm not trailing my stop, right? So you better get alert. You want to be alert. Protect your profit. Protect your profit if you're scalping. Move it up. Move it up. My trail's not on. I'll take those 60 bucks. Stop me out. It's not stopping me. I had 2 targets. Okay. Still going. Still going. Stop me out now. Still going. There we go. Okay. Now, why did I take that long? Look at the line. Look at the curve in that line. That is awesome. Look at the curve in those lines. That is awesome. Crossover. Right out of the yellow dots changing color. Okay. The reason I do it, I call it a 1030 trade wave, is because there is a specific trade where the NASDAQ tends to reverse at 1030 as a trend trade. We happen to do it today as a scalp because these are scalping markets. You have to take what the market gives you. Okay. Do you want to have an 80 tick stop? Most people don't. Most people don't, but you almost need an 80 tick stop in these markets because that's how crazy they are. Look at the, and then you verify that. You look at the dome. Right now, the dome is not terrible, but you know what? It's on gold. Let's make sure the dome is correct. So link it to the color of your NASDAQ. Okay. See the jumping? I've seen it worse. We saw it worse last week. We saw it worse last week. Now you understand why you don't need Bloodhound for this? You don't have to have Bloodhound to tell you to get into that trade. We have enough signals with or without Bloodhound that tell us when to get in a trade. And the only thing different about what Chantal does with her Bloodhound is because she's doing a trend trade, she has big targets and big stops. Bloodhound is nice for getting into trades, but you have to spend a lot of money on Bloodhound. We do not need it. Wave, I need you to re-question that. I don't understand the question. Wave, I don't turn on the template. I always turn the trade, the range on, but I don't turn the trade on until I get my signals after 1030, preferably. I won't turn the trade on until I get my signals. Okay. If I get my signals, crossover, Williams moving in the right direction, Dots ending and the line forming. Breaking through a U11 line also is a signal, right? It looks like it's going up right now. I'm getting all those signals. But then if I get a red candle, I may not wait. I may not wait. I don't like that. I don't like that. Even though it might be a retrace, which it was in this case, maybe, let's see. I don't want to give up my 295 right now. Okay? I could quit for the day. I could quit for the day. And I've made 295. I made back what I lost. And I intelligently traded that 1030 trade. I waited patiently. It was hard. It was hard. I'm telling you, if you can't exercise patience, don't mess with this trade. Okay? Please. If you can't learn to exercise patience, don't mess with this trade. You must update your software to take advantage of this trade. Does anybody need help in understanding how to update your software? Because this is an educational session. Ted, I'm using the Williams AD standard. Williams AD standard. Nothing, I didn't change anything on it. So my settings are, it doesn't have very many settings. Ted. Am I missing something, Ted? Because I don't even barely see any settings. Displacement. You have to be involved, Wave, by turning on the trade, but it will enter automatically. You will often have time to cancel. Look at our short. We got a beautiful short target there. And a signal. Beautiful short signal. I'm a little late, but we're in consolidation, right? That's a rule broke, right? It's a broken rule. It's a broken rule, so I turned it off. You really want to wait for the line. And then look, you got a green candle, but you have a lot of signals. You do have a lot of signals. It could still work, even though you're in a consolidation, but you probably won't get a follow through. Okay? Ted, I can't find that indicator. I can't find it. Let me know if you find it, especially for Ninja 8. More questions. See, now you got a line, but it's straight, so you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. I don't like to go short on green candles either. Okay? I don't like to go short on green candles, especially not with a scalping strategy. Right now, I'm not quite set up for a scalping strategy. Always make sure after a trade that you fix your setup for the type of trade you want to make. I'm set up for a trend. Okay? I'm set up for a trend. I also like a little bit bigger scalp than what Steve is doing. Steve is doing 4. I'd like to do 8. He's doing 4 and 6. I'd like to do 8 and 12 and see how that works with a stop of 15. Okay? That's a slightly different scalping strategy. And he uses 3 positions so he can trail, okay, with 3 positions. That's not unreasonable. 15 tick stop on the YM is roughly 4 points, not quite, per contract. $80 or so per contract. It's not that bad. Okay? And then you just turn your range on and watch. Am I getting a long signal? Maybe. Not the strongest, but if I'm going to scalp, I probably want to put my zones on too. And if I miss that long, my life isn't going to end. I'm not going to go cry into my pillow if I miss that long putting on my MK sub zones. Okay? I think I'll just call them wrapper zones. All right, nice white area there to trade in. Nice area. But you can see this trade didn't work that great yet. But now I don't have my Williams signal, right? Williams is very important, but it would have worked. Do I chase it? I don't think so. Not going to chase it. Wouldn't have stopped me, but yeah, it would have stopped me. I didn't chase it, okay? You gotta control yourself. I came so close to chasing it, folks. You gotta control yourself. You could absolutely enter before 10:30 wave because I named it 10:30 only because it's an approximate time. It might happen at 10:25. It might happen at 10:40. Definitely correct. Okay? Definitely correct, Wave. So look, remember what I said about a signal? That theoretically could be a signal on the moving average crossover, right? It could theoretically be a signal. You didn't get a crossover, but you have a move up. Williams is up, but the bottom line is not. The dash line is flat to down, so I probably would not take that long. It might work. It's okay. I don't have to trade 40 times a day. I don't have to trade at all when I'm up 295. Okay? When you're up, you get more careful. Protect your profit. Don't give it back. You think the market wants to give you money? It doesn't. It's crying like a baby that it gave you that money. Okay? Questions? Anybody? Good long signals. Good long signals. You did have not bad. I mean, you had an almost crossover. Nice blue line, directional. Look, really, your signal was there. Okay? Your signal was here. Some people would say your signal was there for that trade. You would have got stopped probably there, depending on the size of your stop. And then potentially you had another scalp signal there. Okay. Sometimes I trade the NQ just based on my knowledge of watching the indicator. I sometimes feel that I know all of this well enough to gauge the momentum, and I'll make a trade without any signals using momentum, which you should not do until you know it so well that you feel you can do that. And you'll get hurt when you do that. I promise you, you will get hurt. Yes, Wave, send me an email for the video. Do not apologize, Raphael. No apology. The difference between the bracket breakout and the trap trade. The trap trade is a completely different trade. It's a completely different setup. And the trap trade is a reversal trade. Okay. It's a low slippage trade. It's when the market is going down, we're buying. When the market is selling, we're buying. When the market is selling, when the market is buying, we're selling. It's a trade that we use when we think a news report is going to reverse due to our studying of the reports. There are many reports that behave a certain way, and we'll go with the trap trade in that case. The breakout trade is just like it says. It's a unidirectional, single directional trade, preferably, not a reversal trade. Had some good signals here for the short, but even with the good signals, it might have stopped you. It didn't follow through. And that just wouldn't have worked. That just wouldn't have worked. Now we're getting close to the no trade zone on the NQ. I don't like trading the NQ from, actually we're past it. 1050 is I'm done for the NQ until about 130. Okay. I like trading earlier. You get better setups. You get better setups. Okay. Better setups. Questions? Last questions before we go? We've been here almost 2 hours. Ted, send it to me if you found it, please. When I say signal, I mean entry trigger. Correct, Chris. A signal is an entry trigger. Okay? Absolutely correct. A signal is an entry trigger. So, folks, I gave you the link for tomorrow's retail trade. Please come. That's a really good trade. It's an exciting trade. I love retail. All right. Here's all tomorrow's trades. We have 3. I hope I can talk for tomorrow night's trade. That's all I can say. I'm having oral surgery tomorrow. Sign up for tomorrow's trades. I will not miss the trade room, but I may be talking like this tomorrow, unfortunately, because I might have. I know I'm having some surgery tomorrow, so it's. But they tell me I should be okay. That I should be able to talk. Questions? When is the trade room open? Jimini, in your member emails. In your member emails, you were sent or will be sent a schedule. A schedule. Here is the location for that. That's the location. Jimini, always check your schedule, your trade room invitations in your emails. I almost always send them to members the day before. And then you register for the individual trade room. Okay? That's how we do it right now. Do you need the link again, Wave? Chris, I'm not allowed to send anybody indicators because of copyright. I'll find out if it's free on the internet and let you know where to find it. I'll make it part of the document. Okay? I don't know if it's on it's on Ninja, Ted says. So keep in mind, he'll send us the link, but you have to be registered for the link to work. Thank you so much, Ted. But you may have to register at that moment, Chris. I just don't want to get in copyright infringement problem, folks. That's why you have to become a member of Futures.io. It's not that I want you to spend the money. I'd rather find everything for free. You know, I try very hard to find you stuff for free. You know that. Okay, Wave. Wave, did you say you need, email me whatever you need, Wave. Okay? Cannot find KW. I can't find Williams at all for Ninja 8. Let me go to Ninja 8, folks, for a minute. Ninja 8 is the forgotten stepchild. Let me show you what you could do at Ninja 8. It's not bad. It's not bad. Here's what I have so far for Ninja 8. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, unfortunately. How do you set up your charts with Ninja 8? Exactly the same way, okay? Exactly the same way. Sorry, folks. Let me mute for 1 second. It's my son calling. I'll be right back. I'm not even going to mute. I'll call you back. I'm in the room. I'm a lucky parent. I have kids that actually like me. And for that, I feel blessed. Ted, you could use my ProCall email, anyone that you want. Ian likes me. I like Ian. I like everybody. There's not one member that I don't like. Nobody's been mean to me. So you set up your charts exactly the same, okay? With Ninja 8, exactly the same. Come on, remove. So let's say you just have a blank chart with Ninja 8, okay? You got a blank chart, right click it, do your properties. You could move your right side margin if you want to, and then you download your import NinjaScript add-on, find the file, double click on it and download it, okay? Just like you do in Ninja 7. And then let's say I'm on the gold chart. It doesn't matter if you're on gold. Make sure you're on the 210 tick, okay? I want to be on 210 tick, so I actually have to change that manually because that's what we use, all right? For scalping. For earnings, we use minutes. And then just download your indicators. Go to indicator. Once they're downloaded, I found ADVMA color bands. Don't forget to set the period to 7. Okay? Set it to 7. And it looks almost exactly the same. There is a way to get that text off. Click on it. Remove it. Oh, wait, I did it wrong. Hold on. Click on it and text visible off. Click on it, text visible off. Okay? And then I'm going to download my Anna Super Trend. It's around here somewhere. Okay it. Now there is a way. I hope I remember. There's a way that you could make the bars look normal. Someone's going to have to remind me. I forgot how to do it.
What bars are we talking about?
Ninja 8, the Anna Super Trend. Remember how we did this yesterday, Stephen? The bars look like the Super Trend. I want to turn that off. I thought there was a way to do it.
Oh yeah, no, you
click on the indicator, right?
Yeah.
Or I could go to the indicator.
Well, you went to properties or something.
Yeah, let's see if it was.
It was something in there.
Yeah, I don't know if it was maximum bar. Ninja 8's going to take like 500 years to learn. It wasn't in. Doesn't seem to be in
there. Right there. Show paint bars. Take off the show paint bars down there. Right there. Right, you show paint bars right there. Down. Right there.
Yeah. There it is. Thank you. And then normally you can create a template so it doesn't happen again. Save as, and I'll call this one trade room and just date it. And then I can reload it the next time. I won't have to do that again. There is a way to get rid of this text also. And I thought that I did. Text, visible, turn it off. Okay. And then let's make that part of the template. Hopefully that'll save with it. Okay. And we're going to save it as today's date and replace it. This is the best we can do. Don't forget to make your panel. Okay. I'm not going to spend the time making the panel. Trust me, you can make it. I'm going to wind up doing it, right? Go to EMA or SMA, right? And then create a template for yourself so you don't have to do it again. The EMA is the 21. And the 21 is gold, which it's already set. The only thing I'm going to do is click on this little tiny arrow so it points down. and I'm going to make the width 3 so it's fatter. Okay. Then I'm going to drag it down. Well, I don't have a panel. Let's see if it creates one. It does. That's nice. Then I'm going to add a SMA indicator, an SMA of 3. I'm going to make it black so I can see it. The period is 3. And then I'm going to click on that little SMA to make it point down so I can change the color and the width. Width to 3 and the color to black. Black is all the way up. And now I've got to find that, drag that baby down. Make sure, hopefully I'm dragging the right thing down, right? Let's see. And I was, fortunately. Now you can save the template, right? Save it as the trade room today. It exists, click it. This is the best I can do so far. Turn on your chart trader. This is the best I can do so far for Ninja 8. I need that Williams indicator so badly. I need that Williams indicator. That would make Ninja 8 phenomenal. Okay? Yes, Miguel, ask any question you want. Any question you want. Do you use a VPS to have better fills and avoid slippage? Overseas, yes. In the United States, most people do not have to. If your fills are good, if your data supplier is good, in the United States, generally you don't need a VPS. Okay? Generally you don't need it. Oh my goodness, Ted, if you could find that indicator for Ninja 8, you will be my absolute best friend, because then we really can use Ninja 8 on a regular basis for this strategy. Otherwise, it's trickier. You don't have an extra confirmation, which I would like. I would like an extra confirmation. Okay. In Mexico, Miguel, you might need a VPS. You can do some testing with SIM to see what your fills are, understanding that there is no slippage in SIM. Okay. But you could test trap trades. Learn to do the trap trade, Miguel. I can send you some videos. Send me an email, and I'll send you some trap trade videos, Miguel, so you could learn how to do the trap trade. And it has way less slippage, and you could test in SIM to see what your fills are. Here's my email. Okay. But you could see why the text keeps showing up. I'm going to have to figure that out. Maybe because it's locked. Let's see. Now let's see if it'll remove. So I'll click it. Hang on. No, it won't let me click it now. If it's locked, let's see if the text properties show up on the indicator. Properties, text visible. I don't know if that applies. That applies to the indicator, not to the text. That will turn the indicator off. Trust me, I know I'm right. Now maybe. No, if it won't let you unlock it, if somebody can figure that out, tell me, okay, how to get rid of the text permanently with the ADVMXMA. Just for fun, let's load our template and see if it's gone. Nope, it's still there. I want to get rid of the text, the ADVXMA text at the right side of my chart, Arthur. See that text? It just gets in the way. Gets in the way. And it won't let me. To turn on Chart Trader in Ninja 8, you go up to this icon, turn on Chart Trader, okay? Turn on Chart Trader. And what's nice about Ninja 8, it has both domes. So you can use the static dome, and you can lengthen the dome ergonomically, the way a dome should work. But that's about it. Everything else, they recreated all their stupidity. Why, I don't know. Almost all of it. Properties, I like the quick buttons. I like to show the quick buttons. I like the P&L to show in dollars, currency. Okay. I also like to show the high and low daily markers. But those are things you don't have to do what I do. You do what you like. Yeah, no, Arthur. If you right click it and collect properties, when it's locked, see the text visible, watch, it'll go away, but then it comes back. I don't know why it comes back. I save it, but it still comes back. So this is Ninja 8. The range trade works nicely. Now, Bob said he found an anomaly, which is a fancy word for a bug. But I don't want to waste everybody's time. But I'll just show you how to configure the strategy. Make sure your graphics show on the chart. Make sure that you're not using any break-evens. Make sure that you're using the right amount of positions that you're using. For Steven's setup, you're using 4, 6, and 0. No reversed if stopped out. He uses a 12-tick stop. He uses a break-even and a break-even plus 2. Trailing stop enabled. Okay. And make sure you're on one-click range trade and strategy internal. Okay. Now, I thought you could save that as a template, but I don't. It saves the strategy template. Let's see. Let's see if it'll do the one-click and it'll save that template. It looks like it will. Okay, but now we're set up. You can turn your trade on the same way you do. Turn your range on, same way you do. I have not found the MK subzones either. I have not found the MK subzones. Okay, a lot of people are starting to drop off. This is very long. It's time to go. I want to thank everybody for coming. I will make a recording of this. And any last questions, folks? I think we've covered a lot of info. Questions? No questions? So everybody's good? Send me emails and I'll talk to everybody. Thanks, Arthur, on the Eagles. EAGLES, Eagles. And everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. Retail. Come for retail. Okay? Okay, Ted. Write it down real quick, Ted. I can't see, Ted. That's my problem. Thanks, Ted. You're the best. Appreciate it. I'll give you a yell. I'll call you right now. All right, folks. Yeah, only tomorrow. Tomorrow is retail. Today we don't have a trade other than the 4:30 trade. Did anyone trade Britain this morning? Anyone trade Britain this morning? Frank, I'll let you know. We've had 2 classes this week. What I might do is make a couple of videos. I like the classes, Frank. I think when we have quiet days, I'll throw classes on, and we're going to start trading this also. We're going to start trading the 1030 trade at least. And I think we could scalp the NQ for an hour most days. You know, I think we could do it. That's what I got to talk to the bosses, make sure they give me the okay on that. There's no 4:30 trade on Wednesday, Arthur. It's retail crude and the jobs report. Retail crude and the jobs report tomorrow. All right. So I'll see everybody tomorrow. Need to learn to scalp. Me too. What's the DAX right now? I don't have the DAX on this chart, so it's FDAX. See how the ADVXMA comes back? But I would not normally look at the DAX on 210 ticks either. Arthur, I'd look on a minute chart. I'd look at the DAX on a minute chart. So I don't know Ninja 8 well enough to save myself time, you all. Oh, you know what? There was an easier way to do this. We're in a 1 minute chart. Okay. That's very annoying, that text. There's got to be a way to get rid of it, or I'll have to find another indicator. The DAX definitely looks down right now. The DAX looks down. I want that Williams. I want that Williams. That's 5 minutes on the DAX. It's pretty down. It's pretty down. So with Ninja 8, you click intervals, and if you want minute, click on the one. Double click it. Click one. I'll figure out how to get rid of it. Questions, folks? There is another ADVXMA NT8 indicator out there, KW. It didn't work right. It didn't work right. If you want to check it out and let me know for sure, feel free. Ted, I'll call you right now. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Last questions. This is your last chance. Eben, I want to say hello. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, and thank you for coming. We have a lot of new people. Irene, I hope this was good for you and clear. And everybody that needs help. John, we're going to work next week. John N., you and me. We're going to work next week, right? I think that's what you said. If not, let me know with an email. Lisa, I'm so happy to see you in the room. Makes me feel normal. I'm going to figure out a way to keep you. I'll figure it out. I'll get it going. Raphael, nice to see you. And there was someone else who was new that I didn't know was new, and I apologize. But they may have left. A lot of people were here. So everybody, thanks for coming. And Patrick, your laptop is ready to go. Look at the DAX. DAX is ready to go short. DAX is scary. Where's my buttons? If you don't see your buttons in Ninja 8, lengthen the chart. There it is. See? Look what happened. My chart wasn't long enough, so my button was missing. Lengthen the chart. Okay? DAX is going short. It's risky, though. The riskiest it's the riskiest. Look how fast it makes money or loses money. That's how risky it is. The DAX will kill you in a second. Okay, I want my properties to show the money all the time. Click show gross realized profit. Okay. See how it wound up being 82 bucks because it reversed and hit my stop? Turn it back on. DAX has some real good sell numbers. 89 is an awesome sell number on the DAX. You don't mess with the DAX. That's rule number one. I've seen more people blow their accounts out in the DAX than anything. KW, what do you mean you can hit the drop down arrow? KW. Teach me something I don't know, for real. Ian, by the way, thanks for saying those nice things to Ted about me. How do you get the clock? Even look in your welcome email. It's in your welcome email. If you can't find it, send me an email. It's in your JOBB welcome email. To show button at top on short window, you can hit the down arrow button. I don't know what down arrow button you mean. Even if you can't find it, just email me. I'll send it to you. All right, folks. You could see why the DAX is so dangerous. But those zones, someone's got to find those zones too for Ninja 8. So why is Ninja 8 not being supported? That's the issue. Why are they not linked together? That's interesting. Make sure that when you move your price, they're linked together, or that's not going to be useful. Okay, so be careful with your panel. My other panel works fine, I believe. So that one I did properly. So this template is Consolidate. That's the name of it, okay? If you're using Ninja 8 and you want my Consolidate template, you can have it. You just have to make sure you have the same indicators loaded, okay? Super Trend, EMA 3 and that will load. Current day OHOL and the ADVXMA color bands. And then the template will work perfectly. Okay, folks? So I did something wrong when I made those panels, so to double check that. Now hang on a second. You know, and make sure you can see all your charts too, because my buttons are on my other chart. They're on my DAX chart. Make sure if you're trading, you see all your charts. Okay? Okay, shorten my window. I can't see the button. Ah, got you. That black arrow. Got you. Thanks, KW. Okay, folks. I don't want that extra chart open. Okay? Questions, anyone? Last chance. I'm getting out of here. All right, folks. It takes a while to make the video, but I'll get it out. See you later. Robert, see you.